This will probably be ever so slightly more light-hearted than the things you've been listening to this morning, so it'll be a little bit more fun. And I guess ultimately I'm an industrial designer, but I suppose what I do is prevent visual pollution. Though some of you might not say that to a man wearing a pink hat and a patterned waistcoat. Could be making it worse. So I think I'm really just going to tell you about why I came to Hong Kong and the things that have happened quite naturally over the last few years. And I guess really I was working in London for a lot of European furniture companies, industrial companies. And it was actually a time I was working in Taiwan helping Giant Bicycles reposition themselves. So I was over there a lot. And I used to come to Hong Kong on the weekends, and I was sitting in the Peninsula Hotel, just in the swimming pool, and I saw the lights of Hong Kong just in the evening shining out there. And I just thought to myself, if this city is full of so many bankers, it means there must be so much cash here. There must be stuff going on. And then I thought, well, if Shenzhen's only 40 minutes on a train that way, why isn't this a design center? It has to be, because why would I live in Europe when this is all here? So I just trusted my instinct, and I rented an apartment here 7 years ago, and I just started to do a few things. And when I did that, I got so much press. Lots of projects started to come to me. So anyway, to just jump to make a few examples of scenarios of projects I've done here. I'm going to make an example of, this is more like a story, you could say. This chair looks very classic and very simple, but it's actually at the pinnacle of innovation. What happened was, I think it must have been 4 years ago, I was doing a lecture at the Business of Design Week, and a young guy came up to me from Guangzhou, and he gave me his card, and he said, "Michael, can you get in touch? We make things in aluminium. We've got a big factory. We'll do anything you want to do." And I just put the card in my pocket. And I don't often wear jackets, but I wore that jacket 6 months later, and I found his card in my pocket. And I thought, why would anyone say we'll do anything you want? And I thought, this is really weird. But anyway, I sent him a drawing I said, if you're going to do anything I want, free of charge, I want to make this. So it turned out to be this huge sculpture with about 10,000 little parts, and it was costing them, in fact, I thought it was 50,000 euros to make, but it actually cost them about 120. They made it, and 3 months later, these boxes arrived in my studio, which was in Shangwan, and we built this structure, and we made an exhibition actually at the Pawn. And we developed this weird relationship. There was no contract. It was just a friendship thing. And I said, "Why did you do this?" And he said, "Oh, we want to train our staff how to work with you." And I thought, okay, that's a very pragmatic approach to business. And they wanted to learn how to work with my studio. And they said, "What else do you need?" And I thought, oh, okay, cool. This is good. And at the time, my wife was designing a restaurant in Hong Kong. I tend to avoid interior design. For me, interior design is something with things going wrong all the time. So I prefer to keep things tight. So anyway, I designed this chair for my wife for this restaurant, and I sent them the drawing, and they said, well, this is really complicated to tool, but it in fact turned out that they'd been manufacturing computers for a very well-known company that uses a material that looks a lot like that. And I'm not supposed to know where these things are being made, but I do. So I set them this project of a highly complex chair. Now you can see the way the back leg curves into the back. It's incredibly difficult to manufacture stuff like this. But what I've learned about design is that, and working for companies like Giant Bicycles, is that I need to design patents and I need to design protection. So they didn't even make a model of this chair. They looked at 3D files and made the tooling and sent it to us. And I'm like, oh my God, this is ridiculous. There's a lot of an educational curve has to happen here. But anyway, as it happened, we made this chair and it became very popular. So you can see on the detailing here. So I started supplying this to a few restaurants, and then I started getting calls from various parts of the world wanting to sell the chair. So what I did, I said to the CEO of the company, if you want to start a company up, a new furniture company, we can do it. So invent the name with your wife, go out for a glass of wine and feel part of the company. So he came back a few days later and said, I want to call this company EOQ. That's a code for parts, an aluminium formula. So this chair basically was the foundation of a new company. Now you can buy this. We recently launched this company in London. And now it's started to sell in restaurants. So this company got started out of nothing really, just out of a bit of faith and a bit of know-how. And what it made me realize is you put a designer, a creative person in a place with lots of industry and anything can happen. So now that this company is launching around the world, we decided to launch another product. So I went to their factory and I noticed that they were making things for cooling lights, basically, heat sinks. So this is actually a world first. This is a one piece of metal. It's an extruded piece of aluminium. So this is actually one piece. It's incredible. It's made to the standard that an industrial component or a telephone is made. So what we've actually managed to do without realizing it is start working with a company that manufactures telephone parts and what have you to make a furniture company. So what we've actually done is make a company using completely unique finishes. So we're putting the surfaces on these products that you normally see on your household objects. So in that sense, it's a very advanced company. So now these orders are starting to come in from places like Heels, Conran's shop in Paris, in London. We're going to launch the company in Milan. And this came out of nothing. And the reason this company can be successful is because of the investment that has been made in China and the factories over the last, say, 10 years. And I'm benefiting from that because the equipment's all out there and it's all state-of-the-art. So this makes Asia a really appealing city for me to work in because the lack of investment in European factories in the last 10 years is a challenge for me. So when I show work like this to companies that want to work with me in Europe, they're just sort of, we can't do it. Sorry, we don't have the investment is too high. We don't have the skill sets. So this has become a really amazing place for me to work. And again, I'm just going to show you a few examples of things. So 3 years ago, I was working on a watch project with a company called ODM, who've actually really become more friends now than a company I work for. And we realized that Europe was going to go into a recession. So we decided to come out with a range of products that would actually fight that recession. So this range of watches, I've only got one on here to show you. It's got a Japanese movement, which is a very high quality. It's got a PU strap because it's not so good having leather straps where there's such great humidity. And we made a watch that looks like it's worth $500, but it actually sells for $120. So basically our sales have gone straight through and it's still selling as much as we would have, but by just altering the business model and reacting to the market, which we can do in Hong Kong or in Shenzhen, say, where a lot of the watch manufacturers are based, we've actually managed to fight our way through the recession and come up with a range of watches that look good. People who would normally spend more are proud enough to buy this one because we've improved the detailing of the watch and the finishes and paid attention to the detail. I can do that because it's 40 minutes to Shenzhen. They can get the samples to me in a day. My staff can go backwards and forwards. We can meet once a week. So I'm in Sheungwan, they're in Kowloon. So it's a sort of win-win situation. So this watch has actually helped market this company that was really Hong Kong-based become an international company. We do a lot of strategies, selling in very high-end stores around the world, and this helps shift the cheaper products. Again, here's another example. This was actually the world's first ever Bluetooth and rechargeable speaker. Now, there's a lot on the market now. This product came, I was having a beer in Hollywood Road with a friend who was manufacturing barbecues, and he said to me, Michael, I can't go to another trade fair and sell barbecues. I can't do this for the rest of my life. And I said, okay, let's have a talk and see what we can do. And just at the time, I was working on a project, and we actually came up with the idea, for the first time, why can't we have this thing that you can carry around? It can work with your iPhone. It can charge your iPhone up, and then so the top piece actually comes away from from the base. And this actually became a conferencing center as well, so you could actually play your music through it. You could take it around the house and carry your music into the bathroom. And if somebody called you, you could either use it as a conferencing speaker, or you could pick it up if it was a private call, and it would automatically turn into a telephone. So this was a very unique typology. And actually, since then, this was only 4 years ago, this company's been turning tens of millions of US dollars over, not necessarily with my product, but with the lower range of products. And that's a tremendous success. And really, that came out of having a beer in Hollywood Road and thinking about what to do. The minute we had that idea, the investment was there from the banks, and we went straight over to a sound laboratory in Kowloon. We met with the sound engineers. A friend of mine has a factory, so he manufactured all the parts. And the aluminium guys who made the chair made the front. So we had everything automatically in place. Now, if I tried to do that in Hammersmith or Kensington, it just wouldn't happen. I can't even get... Everyone there is just making a cup of tea, honestly. It's ridiculous. And again, I'm just going to go through a couple of innovative things and then stop rabbiting on. Again, I work for... 33% of my clients are European, 33% are Hong Kong, and 33% approximately mainland companies. And these are either companies that are wanting to build their brands because they've been doing things that they didn't really know would, they wanted to improve the level of their brand. Or I'm working for brands who want to start from nothing and make an impact. Or I'm working for a lot of old European brands who just want to keep on going. Very beautiful old cultural brands who have got a legacy and a marketing concept which they have to protect and keep on going, but they have to innovate and keep going. And a lot of these brands I help enter the mainland market, which is constantly developing, and a lot of the Asia brands I help in the European market. So it's a kind of weird situation I find myself. I work with Danish companies. I don't even have to go to Denmark. I wish I could go more because the food's good. But these guys are all coming constantly to Hong Kong. Everyone's passing through here. So I'm just working from the Four Seasons lobby most of the time. Again, this was the world's first cornstarch earbud. Now, none of the designs I do are just purely decorative. What I do, I try and find new ways of working for companies. So, for example, this is the world's first use of cornstarch, which is an organic plastic, completely recyclable. Now, when we put this onto the market, we didn't know what the reaction would be, but it rocketed all over the internet. So if you Googled EOPS Michael Young cornstarch, we got on every single website you can possibly imagine. And this was because the people who actually want to buy in this market, all of the kids, reacted to the fact that this was a recyclable product. It just wasn't some hot air sort of bullshit that had been designed to look crazy. You'll see the shape of the speaker. This compresses the air out really beautifully. And cornstarch is actually quite brittle. It's not breakable, it's brittle. So it actually improves the quality of the sound. So this is a completely holistic engineered product. I could go on forever because I've been doing this for 20 years, and for some reason I don't talk much when I'm at home, but when you've got this here, it's quite good fun. So good. And again, this is another company. So we design a lot of really high-end products. I'm not interested in fighting against the mass market, because then you're fighting for pennies, and I'm not interested in fighting for 1 cent. I'm interested in creating a product that stands alone, it stands out, and it markets the company, makes the correct profit margins for all the people involved, and improves the whole business environment that I'm working in. There's too many people competing for those pennies, so we're based on finding innovation. Again, this has got a cornstarch insert in the headphone. We do limited editions of this product, which sell, again, in high-end stores. So as a result of that, it's now being associated with a lot of people and products that are on a very high level. So this brand has become... This started from nothing. This guy was actually a banker in New York, and he got bored. And he moved back to Hong Kong and decided, I want my own brand. And he came to me very early on when I first came to Hong Kong. And since then, we've designed about 8 new products for him, and he's got a world-famous leading audio brand, saying that it's a competitive market. So we've got to be on our toes. Anyway, that's a brief introduction into my studio and what I do here, and the sort of typical things that occur in every day in Hong Kong for me. Thank you. Cheers.